Hey guys, I am excited to come to you today and bring you my first episode about life and business now that we are operating in an entirely new reality, which is the COVID virus. So, this is my first podcast episode for my podcast, Hitting Rock Middle, and I am doing this simultaneously via video to be able to reach as many people as possible and to try to offer help in the midst of these scary and certainly unusual times. And the best way I know to help is to be able to provide the type of business advice that is going to get you out of feelings of overwhelm, which is our topic today, and back into action. Because we know that action is an eliminator of those feelings of overwhelm. So today's topic is exactly that, is how to deal with the feelings of overwhelm. I'm sure so many of you are feeling overwhelmed today. I get that. I want to let you know that I hear you. I understand you. I've been talking to female entrepreneurs, in fact, all over the globe, who are feeling exactly the same way that you are feeling. The good news is you are not in this alone at all. And there are so many people who are feeling the exact same feelings that you are feeling right this minute. So do not allow yourself to feel like you are in this by yourself, even if you are in business by yourself and for yourself. You are not in this alone. There are lots of us that are out there to be able to help you sift through this and be able to find the other side of it, because we are going to get through this. And that is absolutely a fact. We will get to the other side of this and we will be stronger for it. And we will let go of some of the things that have not been working in our businesses, that have not been producing the successes that we know we're capable of having. So hopefully you will use this as an opportunity to reset, an opportunity to see what obstacles have been getting in your way in the past and what opportunities are going to be waiting for you for your future. Because there are going to be many opportunities that are going to arise for you out of this. And the best thing that you can do is be able to get into action to be able to see them. It is those that look for and try to find the opportunities out of this, not being an opportunist, which is very different, but finding opportunities for yourself and your business to keep moving forward is a positive thing, right? It allows you to be a part of the recovery instead of part of a recession. So make the decision right here, right now with me, that you are going to look for the opportunities, that you are not going to only sit there and sit back and pause and stare at the obstacles, because I can guarantee you that is going to make the feelings of overwhelm grow. So once you are on board with seeing the opportunities that are ahead, and if you have made the decision to be in this with me and look for those opportunities, then I want to pour into you. I want to give you as many opportunities as I can for you to be able to rise and thrive during this and not just survive. So how can I do that? I am giving you a free Facebook group for you to be able to join. It is called the Momentum Makers. The Momentum Makers is the name of it. It is entirely free. It is an opportunity for you to come in and get business tips and advice from me. So that is something that is positive that has come out of this for me, is being able to help and reach more people out there who need the business and career advice to get to the next level or to stay in business right now. And that is your opportunity to get the help that you need for free from me. So join us on Facebook. I also have an Instagram. It's the exact same name, the Momentum Makers. Look for those. I am going to be streaming live content in both of those with tips and every bit of the strategies to success right now that you're going to need to survive and thrive during this time. So stay tuned for those. Get involved. If you want this opportunity and you want to thrive and not just survive during this, take now a moment and go and join the Momentum Makers in Facebook, and let me pour into you and fill up your cup and give you the strategies to create the success that you deserve. So that is the best thing that I can give you right now, is more tools and tips to be able to get your way out of the overwhelm and keep moving forward. So, all right, so now let's dig into our topic of how to deal with the feelings of overwhelm. So what is overwhelm? Psychologists call it the feeling in the mind of being completely overcome with emotion, and it tends to manifest itself in anger, irritability, helplessness, and anxiety. So if you are feeling that way right now, you might be exhibiting some of the symptoms of feeling overwhelmed, which is totally normal. And as I've said, you are not alone in that. And what causes these feelings? Well, obviously, loads of situations, likely in the past, have caused this as well. I think what's very different about this circumstance is that we feel like we did not choose this, that we were forced into opportunities for change, which is really difficult to find ourselves in, but it can be very much an opportunity. So despite the fact that you have a long to-do list, an emotional event, loads of changing situations, those are all causes of the feeling of overwhelm. There are lots of things that you can do about it. There are lots of ways to be able to take your power back and to be able to take action to eliminate it, and also to begin to create the feelings of success that will eliminate this feeling of overwhelm. So the first, I'm going to give you 4 really important tools to be able to utilize. The first is don't multitask. I know that you are probably shocked that I'm sitting here saying that, but did you know that each and every time you switch gears, so every time you're trying to go from the mom hat to the work hat, or from, business to personal, and you're trying to do multiple things at one time, you are exhausting yourself. Now, I know that you're feeling those feelings right now, but oftentimes we don't take the time to go back and look at what the cause was. And what I would argue is that right now, more than ever, you are attempting to multitask instead of doing something that I talk about a lot, which is batch working, which is another episode in the podcast. So if you have not listened to that episode, make sure you go back and listen to my full episode on batch working. Now is the time to implement that. So try not to multitask. Instead, change your expectation that everything has to be completed right now or else, right? It is that feeling that it has to be done in this moment that creates that sense of urgency that says you have to do multiple things at one time. So it's that expectation that gets us in the mindset to believe you're already behind. And that is simply not true, right? It is absolutely not true. Where you are right now is where you are meant to be. And if you are seeking out this podcast or this video or this information, I can tell you, you are not behind. You are part of the solution already, because you are part of the group of people who are looking for opportunities and looking for answers versus looking for obstacles. So there is no need for you to feel that overwhelming feeling that comes from feeling behind. You are not. Instead, we want to focus. We want to focus on one thing at a time. There's only one step that you can take at a time, and that is the next step that's in front of you. So when you're consumed with what's next and you've lost sight of the here and now, all I want you to do is remember these 2 words. This is it. Next step. In fact, I, for years, had those 2 words on a sticky note, right, in my office, on my computer sometimes. Sometimes it was, I brought it home and I put it in my car. I did all kinds of things. So if you are feeling exhausted because you are constantly multitasking, I want you to take a simple sticky note and write the words next step on it. And remember that that is all you can actually do, because even when you're multitasking, you're still only doing one thing at a time. You are just changing gears between relevant projects over and over and over quickly, right? Which becomes exhausting. It depletes your mind because it takes mental energy to shift gears from personal to professional, right? To shift gears from, home into work. And so it's important that you focus on one thing and focus on whatever it is that is the next right step in front of you. So here's your challenge with this is take that sticky note and take a deep breath and know that you're not behind. All you have to do is the next step. And if you are listening to this, you are absolutely ahead of the curve. Take that sticky note, put it in front of you, keep it in front of you this week. And I challenge you, if you have listened to this podcast or watched this video, to take a picture of it, tag me on Instagram, and you may just be getting a gift from me. And I want to see the pictures of you saying that you are just taking the next step in front of you. We are no longer going to shame ourselves into trying to be hyper productive during this time, which is really the only feelings that we're making grow when we think we're behind, is the growing feelings of overwhelm and shame. And those two feelings do not help us become more productive. They steal our energy, they steal our mindset, they certainly steal our creativity, right? And so they do not make us better at what we do. So let's eliminate that. All right. And I cannot wait to see these pictures flooding in, hopefully, of you guys just using that next step, hashtag next step, and showing me a picture of you using that to take a deep breath and to breathe through this. The second tool, I would say, is that you have an opportunity to change your energy anytime that you need it. In fact, the Harvard Business Review, because you guys know I'm all about some facts, says that it only takes 6 seconds of mindfulness to change your energy entirely. 6 seconds. That's it. Isn't that absolutely crazy? I thought that was mind-blowing. But we sit in the muck. We sit in the feelings of overwhelm and frustration, believing that we cannot change those feelings. And here yet information like this comes out that says we can do it in 6 seconds if we want to. So how do we do it? Well, set a timer. Take your phone and take a break for 10 minutes. Go for a 10-minute walk. Try meditating or sitting quietly for a 10-minute period. Interrupt the action that you're doing that is causing that sense of overwhelm, that is robbing you of your feelings of being present. And remember that it's often our fear of what might happen in the future that pulls our energy into that frantic feeling. Instead, we want to exercise the feeling of mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about the ability to separate yourself from the future and being able to focus back on the present. So I've been reading a lot lately and using this time as an opportunity to really invest in myself and learn more. And so I've been reading Deepak Chopra's book and called Metahuman. And he talks a great deal about mindfulness. And I love the way that he breaks it down and makes it so that it is not something that is, too ethereal, too difficult to understand. And he says, really and truly, it is just the act of pulling yourself out as if you're a third party, looking down on the world to see what's going on and looking down at your thoughts from an objective perspective and saying, what is it that I'm thinking about? What is it that I'm concentrating on that is causing this amount of fear or anxiety or frustration? That is the exercise of mindfulness. It's not that complicated. It's not too hard, right? Anyone can do it. And it is the perfect tool to be able to change your energy. So instead of sitting in the muck and believing that you're stuck there a whole day, your whole day is ruined, you have a feeling of overwhelm and you can't get out of it, you can. You can change your energy each and every time you want. And again, we gave 3 or 4 tools to be able to do that. Just reiterating what some of those are is meditation, setting a timer for a 10-minute break, going for a 10-minute walk, spending just at least 6 seconds in mindfulness of observing yourself and the energy that you've been approaching the day with, right? And then the last one that I'll give you, really 5 of these, is accept your reality of imperfection. Learn to accept the imperfections that enable you to keep moving forward. And that's all you need when you feel overwhelmed. Oftentimes we feel overwhelmed because we feel this ridiculous need to be perfect. I know that I do it all the time. You guys certainly are not alone in that category. I feel the need to attempt to provide you perfect content to solve all of your issues in this one podcast about, how to help you get out of the feeling of overwhelm that COVID-19 is causing you. And that's impossible. Instead, all it was doing was causing me to sit back and not participate in the conversation, which was causing me to feel overwhelmed and a lack of connection. And instead, all I needed to do was accept the reality of my own imperfections, that I am never going to give the perfect result, but imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single day. I say it all the time, and you will keep hearing me say it again and again, especially during this time, that is imperfect action beats perfect inaction every day. So what you do imperfectly will always be better than sitting around doing nothing, waiting for it to be perfect. So accept the reality of your imperfection and use this as a time to learn to accept exactly who you are and where you are, right? Because a lot of our energy very often right now becomes frantic in the feeling of attempting to control something that is completely out of our control. Instead, right, use these techniques to get back in the present. Instead of wondering what the future may hold, you can control where you are today and have an impact on your future by taking action. That is the best way to be able to impact your future in a positive way. Okay, so the third is change your thoughts. Now, that is not the simplest thing to do, but I'm going to give you some ways to be able to do that. Is when you're staring at a long to-do list, you really are susceptible to thinking things like, I'm just never going to get this done. And that thought alone induces more stress. It's really more damaging to your problem-solving behavior than anything. So instead, I want you to ask yourself, in what ways might this thought be inaccurate, unreasonable, or unhelpful? That is a fantastic way to change your thoughts. See, if your thought leads you to inaction, the thing that you want to do is change the thought so that it can get you back into action. So instead of thinking, I will never get this done, which is a repetitive thought we all have, next, try changing that thought to something like this. In what ways might this thought be inaccurate, unreasonable, or unhelpful? See, the goal is to generate positive thoughts that will lead to different, more productive emotions and behaviors. Here's a way to turn that thought around. I may not get it all finished today, but if I work on it, or if I seek assistance, I will likely get it done. See, it was absolutely true that you can turn this I'll never get this done into a positive thought and turn it around. And all you had to say to yourself is, wait, is that inaccurate, unreasonable, or unhelpful? Yeah, that thought is. How can I turn that around in a way that could be more productive for me? Well, a way to turn that around in this instance is I may not get it all finished today, but if I work on it or if I seek assistance, I will likely get it done eventually. You may also suffer from something I call what if thinking. That's associated with anxiety. Meditate on these possibilities and ask yourself, so what? Let's assume the worst scenario comes, which is true in any given endeavor that you take on. Wouldn't you simply just have to accept it, move forward, and learn from what happened? Right? I know that so many people and so many businesses are suffering, but I don't want to minimize that. However, it is more productive for you to remind yourself that your success rate for making it through bad days is 100%. Again, your success rate for making it through bad days is 100%. That means you can make it to the other side of this. You can get through this. So all of the what if thinking of what if my business goes down, what if all of these things happen and come to fruition, you can play that tape forward and say, okay, so what if they do? Let's assume all of the bad stuff that I have possibly imagined could happen happens. Instead of preventing myself from going there, let's play the tape all the way forward and go all the way there. Would I be able to accept it, move forward, and learn from what happened? Yes, you will, no matter what. So we sit in the anxiety because we won't allow ourselves to even imagine the worst case scenario. We say things like, I can't even go there. But sometimes going there can be helpful because you can remind yourself that even if you went there, even if it happened, you can make it. You can get through it. And I am 100% true. I 100% believe that you can. I know that to be 100% true. See, we're worried because we don't want to experience the pain of the what if. We don't want to experience the pain of it all happening. But if you can play the tape forward and know that the pain won't be as bad as what you possibly are imagining, then you can accept it and life becomes more manageable today. Today. You are no longer then robbing today, right, of any possible experience of joy or happiness or action that you could get into to make the scenario better. You are robbing yourself of all of that because you are attempting to reroute this pain. You're attempting to avoid it. So if you're so worried about experiencing the pain, try playing the tape forward and knowing that that pain won't be that bad and knowing that you can get that through that too. I know about avoiding pain. I know about trying not to let yourself go there. I have tried to avoid pain so much in my life. So much so that I found myself at my own personal rock bottom, trying to numb myself away from pain. And I know that that is impossible. I know that we can't do it that way. Oftentimes we have to look pain in the eye and say, I can make it. We think just by not looking at it, it doesn't exist, but it does. It's still there. At least it was for me, and it might still be there for you. Just because you're not looking at it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But we can make it more manageable when we listen to it, when we pay attention to that pain, and that pain might have something good to teach you. Mine did. Mine taught me that I can make it through the worst days. And those worst days got me better. I would never be where I am today had I not experienced the level of pain that I experienced, had I not gone to rock bottom, had I not experienced tremendous pain and found my way out of it. And all of that pain taught me something. It taught me I'm stronger than I possibly know or possibly knew before. It taught me that I can survive 100% of my bad days. It taught me that it's never as bad as we possibly make it out to be either. And that there's hope on the other side of it. And what if on the other side of all that pain is something that's even better than you could have imagined? Mine was. It might just be for you too. So don't be so worried about experiencing the pain. that it makes your life unmanageable today. Okay, now the fourth is try prioritizing your competing values, right? I know that we all have so many competing values right now, right? Family, your company, your job, yourself. So here is another tool you can utilize. Take your to-do list and pick your top 3 items you want to prioritize based on these values, right? Know that you have chosen, right? Oftentimes the feeling of overwhelm comes because we don't choose. We let our day come and go and we take whatever comes at us and we feel like we didn't choose, we didn't participate, we didn't make a choice that is going to lead us in the right direction. So instead, make a choice. Write out your values, compare it to your to-do list, and take 3 items on that list based on those values that you want to pay attention to and that you are going to move forward tomorrow. Write those down. Share those with me in your #next step 2. Take a picture of what those 3 values are and share it with us. We're in this together and we're creating a community in the movement makers or the momentum makers, sorry. And you can go in that Facebook group and share it there. We want to cheer you on as you take the steps and move forward towards getting out of this feeling of overwhelm. Now, the 5th and final step is something simple that anyone can do. It's something that I do every single time before I start a call or a podcast. As I attempt to switch gears, it's something that I try to do each and every time. Again, imperfect action. I don't do it every time, but I try to. And that is, I close my eyes, I put 2 feet on the ground. I remember where my feet are, which is in the present. I take 3 big deep breaths in my nose with my eyes closed, 3 deep breaths outside my mouth. And then I look at my list and I take action. See, oftentimes for me, the feeling of overwhelm comes when I sit in inaction for simply far too long. I overthink the work that needs to be done instead of just simply getting it done. So those 3 deep breaths serve as the reminder or the indicator to my brain and my body collectively together that now is the time to move forward. Now is the time to get going. And that is when I take action. I pick either one of the top 3 items that I chose off of the values list, or I choose my next step. Whatever day it is, but all of that helps me remember that the present moment is all I have and all I can take care of and all that's within my control. So, in summary, I want you to remember that these 5 tools are there for you and that you can decide to fill your cup with these and to get into action anytime you're ready. That you don't have to sit back and wait on anyone else or anything else to change with this pandemic. You can start creating change from within. Whether it's within your 4 walls or within your body or your mind, you can make an impact on your life. No one else is necessary for you to do that. So the tools, again, are to don't multitask, stay in the moment. Change your energy by utilizing one of the 5 tools we shared. Change your thoughts and don't try to avoid but experience the pain. Try prioritizing your competing values. And then the 5th is take a deep breath and take action. I promise that everything you're experiencing is an opportunity for growth for you. And once you do these simple things, you'll find yourself in a position to overcome the challenges you face. and handle what's in front of you and keep moving forward. You can do this. And it's okay to need a little bit of help doing it. We all do. I do. I need the support system from all of the women that I'm working with and coaching in the Brim, and my own coach and my own family. But it is amazing to be able to connect with other women who are going through this together. So don't stay by yourself. You don't have to be in this all alone. You can join us in the Momentum Makers. You can join us in the Brim, which is my coaching group, or you can join anywhere else. But make sure that you don't stay on your own by yourself when there are so many valuable resources out there to be able to help you end these feelings of overwhelm and get back into action. So thank you for listening. If this information was helpful, I really encourage you more than ever to share this podcast, share the episode, share the podcast as a whole with people that you know, so that they can get this information for free and get these resources to get themselves back into action. Because what I do know is that the more action that we all take towards our bigger, greater versions of ourselves and the more growth we create, the better off we are. So please, if you got something out of today's episode, please do share it. Share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook. Leave us a review. It really goes a super long way to making a difference of more people being able to hear the podcast, and I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you for listening today. I hope you have a wonderful day.